in the best mood ever, and because I'm in the best mood ever, I thought, let's sit down, let's do a recommendation video. I've been in the biggest slump of my entire life. I blame it on the baby brain, but I read 2 books back to back last week. What? And they were extremely good reads that made me feel inspired and that pulled me out of this pregnancy book slump I've been in this entire year. So I wanted to sit down and talk about these 2 books plus other books I've read over the past couple of months that I've really enjoyed even in my book slump. I just feel so good and I just feel rejuvenated and full of energy, which has not been the case for me. Also, it was my birthday on the weekend, on Sunday. I think it actually is still Sunday for you guys. It's Monday today here in Australia as I'm filming this. So June the 19th was my birthday. I turned 27. And for the weekend, I went away with my partner up into the mountains here in the state that I live in. And he proposed. I know, what? I always wear a ring on my engagement finger, and I've been asked for years if I'm engaged. No, I wasn't. I am now, and this is the ring. It's honestly so beautiful. I'm so in love with it. But yes, he proposed on Friday afternoon when we arrived at the Airbnb, and my partner of 9 years, or almost 9 years, is now my fiance. We're gonna be Mr. and Mrs. Bitch, husband and wife. This jumper makes me look huge because it's like oversized. I'm not this large, I promise you, but it is winter here in Australia, so let me be snuggly. Let me enjoy the coziness of this oversized jumper that makes me look like the size of a house. Anyway, yeah, I'm engaged. I wanted to tell you guys, and I think that's another reason why I wanted to film today. Not just to tell you guys, but I just am in the best mood ever, and I just feel great. I'm in like this massive love bubble right now. And this love bubble is only going to grow bigger in less than 3 months when my baby comes. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on about my life. I want to talk to you guys about books. When it comes to books, I have always been someone, well not always, when I discovered romance and fell into this reading habit and became obsessed with reading, I was in a pretty dark place mentally. And I have found over the past like 3 years that books really help me internally, you know, deal with mental health issues and stuff like that. So being in a slump and not being able to read because of my pregnancy brain made me a little depressed, I'm not gonna lie. So when I came across this first book I'm gonna talk about last week and read it in one sitting, the improvement that I noticed on my mental health was dramatic. Like, I was just instantly happier. I was a better person. My moods were better, and I was like, oh my God, this is why I read. Not just because I love reading stories and I love romance and smut and sex and all those things. I love reading because it gives me a healthy mental escape from my reality. It doesn't make me ignore my problems. It just gives me somewhere to go when I need a moment to just breathe and just disconnect. And I just love reading. Anyway, I'm gonna get into the recommendations. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's so good to be on camera. I missed you. I miss this a lot, but life is different now. It's going to get even more different over the next couple of months. But I will find my groove again. I will find my new normal. What that will look like, I do not know. Also, before we get into the recommendations, if you want to join my Facebook group, I did write a short story. It's not edited or anything like that. It's just a post on my Facebook group of how my engagement went down. So make sure you join the Facebook group if you want to read it and get a little bit of an insight on how my fiance asked me to marry him. This book, bitch. Hold on a freaking second. Tied by 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐿. Don't come at me. I have read, well, I thought I had read all of 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐿's books, right? And I've done an author video on her as of recently, like the past couple of uploads I've posted the past few months have recommended 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐿's books. I was looking at her collection on my shelf and I realized I hadn't read Tied. And someone had left a comment on one of my videos or on Instagram or on my Facebook group somewhere saying that Tied had similar vibes to Credence. And I read that and I was like, I haven't read Tide. Anyway, I literally like grabbed it last weekend. My partner had gone away. I was home alone. I was just working the weekend and I was just kind of like snuggling in bed. So I started reading it. What? Why the fuck did it take me so freaking long to read Tide? And I just want to say to Carrie-Anne, if she watches this, she might. Sometimes she does watch my videos. Thank you. Like, honestly, fucking thank you. Because I have been trying to read for months and every book I had come across wasn't pulling me out of my slump. And yours did. And I really appreciate it because I needed it. I mentally, emotionally needed this escape. I swear to God, Carrie-Anne cannot do any wrong in my mind. Like her books, every single one I've ever read, I've loved. And even if they weren't my favorite story, I still enjoyed it. And I still enjoyed her writing. Like, she's just amazing. And the fact that she could pull me out of a pregnancy slump with baby brain, bitch, I have to like lean forward. Usually I lean back like this, but with the pregnancy, I gotta lean forward now. Anyway, and I'm rubbing my back. Ignore me, honestly, but you know what? I cannot be professional if I fucking tried. I could try and get on camera and be all perfect, but bitch. It's just not in me. It's not in my soul to be perfect. Anyway, so this is an interesting story. I love like murder mysteries and stuff like that. And I got those vibes from this heroine. So this heroine actually got kidnapped and went missing for like 11 years when she was a child. And this man called Tyler, I believe, ends up stumbling across this dungeon, this place that she's been captive in the middle of the woods. And he rescues her. He gets her out and saves her and then murders her kidnapper. So this heroine has gone through so much abuse. Oh my God. Like, you're kidnapped and kept in a dark place with no windows and shit for 10 years. Mind you, she was a child when she was taken and she's 19 now. She was kept in this like horrendous situation by this creepy kidnapper man who obviously had a thing for kids. Like, the fact that these cunts actually exist is beyond, man. Like, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? I don't get it. If you started having these impulses to like kidnap children, sexually assault children, abuse children, anything like that, don't you think you'd send yourself straight to a psych? I know I would. If I even had like an intrusive thought like that, I'd be like, hang on a second, let me go to the fucking psych and sort this shit out because it's not okay. Like, why don't people do that? Take yourself to the doctors, bitch. Yeah, so she gets rescued and she's gone through all these fucking situations and all this shit with this dude, so much abuse. She's not okay, and she's like mentally and like socially behind everyone her age because she hasn't been socializing with anyone but this creepy man. Anyway, she ends up getting sent to like this rehabilitation center type thing where she's like cancelled, sees a therapist, learns like life skills and stuff. Like, you know, she didn't go to school, man. But she has this thing in her mind that this prince saved her. The only thing she had with her while she was kidnapped were fairy tales, and these like fairy tale love stories. So in her mind, she fully believes Tyler, the person who rescued her and also killed her kidnapper, is her prince, and she's gonna find him one day. She ends up finding him accidentally, and she seeks out a relationship with him. Not necessarily a romantic relationship, she just wants to get to know him, thank him for like saving her life. And Tyler is a very specific person. He is isolated in the woods, he's mute, he himself has gone through a lot of trauma. Because he's been so isolated, he's not used to people wanting to befriend him. You guys, I don't want to give anything away because I just fucking told you half the book. The aesthetic of this book, definitely like mountain wood vibes, like you're in the woods, fucking little elf cottage bitch, like yes, like love that shit. And he's like a rough around the edges, tattooed, like a typical Carrie-Anne hero, tattooed long kind of hair, like rough around the edges, trauma. It's not a intense smutty read. The sex scenes in this book though, bitch, what? They hit the spot. And also it's a slow burn, which we fucking love around here. A good slow burn, not a long fucking dragged out slow burn, a good one. Anyway, I loved this. I gave it 5 stars because I read it in like less than 48 hours, pretty much one sitting. Yeah, and I just wanted to shout this out. Like, if you have not read this, and if you're in a slump, Carrie-Anne is where to go. I'm telling you right now, I need to do like another slump recommendation video. I did one like last year. I'm pretty sure I did recommend Carrie-Anne in that one. There's particular authors that pull me out of a slump every single time, and Carrie-Anne is definitely number 1. This book is super fucking random, right? Because I don't know if it was a TikTok, an Instagrammer. I think it was a reel or a TikTok of some sorts. But someone had made a video and was like, books that got me out of my book slump, and this book came up, Ghosted by J.M. Darhower. Now, I have read a couple of books from this author. They're all mafia. This is not mafia. And I love her mafia books. They're some of the best of the best. So when I saw this come up, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that she wrote like other things but mafia. So like I just put it on my Kindle and I read it straight after I finished Tide. I love this fucking book so much. So this is a second chance. Yeah, second chance, single parent, romance. The hero is famous. Now listen to me. I'm not someone that's really into tropes where the hero or the heroine are famous. I find them a little corny and a little like so unrealistic. Not that like the mafia books I read or anything like that is realistic, but like I don't know. There's something about famous trope that I'm just not into. I really like this one. The hero is a damaged soul who struggles with drug and alcohol abuse. He's a Hollywood star, and he had a relationship when he was younger with this woman from his hometown. They were madly in love, really fiery, passionate love, and she fell pregnant. He wanted to chase his dreams, and he left her behind, pretty much. She tried to go with him, but, you know, when you're young and you accidentally fall pregnant and you've got a baby on the way, some things just can't, you know, happen. He also struggled with alcohol abuse when they were together, and she just couldn't go there because her father also struggled with alcohol abuse, and she just promised herself she wouldn't do that to herself or her child. Anyway, years go by. He keeps trying to pop up every now and then and just tries to weasel his way back in, but she's got such a strong foot, man. Like, she's like, I'm not doing this with you. Fuck off. But then he comes back into her life again, and he's sober this time. The child in this book is adorable. I loved their story. I loved the hero. I loved the heroine. There was something just kind of easy to read about this. Like, there was not much I could critique. There was so much that I just enjoyed. Like, the smut was good, their love was good, the character development was good. I swooned, I laughed. It wasn't predictable at all. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Random as fuck, I know. Random. I hadn't seen anyone except for that one TikTok. I wish I screenshotted or like followed the girl who recommended this, because I would message her right now and be like, bitch, give me more, because you know what you're talking about. Okay, next book I want to talk about is Splinters of You by Anne Malcolm. Now, this is kind of funny. Anne sent this to me, I believe, back in 2020. She sent me a couple of her books, paperback books, signed for me to read. And her books have just been like sitting on the shelf for the longest time, and I haven't read them. I randomly like picked it up when I went through like a bit of a like thriller type stage last month. And oh my fucking god, I fell in love with the heroine in this book. Okay, so first off, I have not finished this book. I think I've got at least 20% of it left. But that's just the way my mind works at the moment. Like, it's just fucking everywhere. I can't like focus on a book and finish it. Hopefully now that I'm like out of my slump and I've read Torn and Ghosted, I can go back to this and finish it. Anyway, I was looking for like romantic thrillers, like thrillers that have romance in them. And I came across this book, and the vibe, the blurb, I was like, hang on a minute, what? So this book here is about a author. The heroine is an author. She's a horror author. I've never read a heroine like this heroine in my entire life. Her name is Magnolia, and she's a horror author. She's very morbid, very confident, especially in her work, and she's just a badass. Like, she talks about wearing makeup, she talks about Botox, like she just has this, I don't know, this real edgy vibe to her, and I just love her so much. She ends up buying a cabin in the middle of the fucking woods, and she bought this cabin because someone got murdered in it. The previous owner was murdered. The killer was never found. So when she sees this, she's like, I'm gonna buy this place and I'm going to move away from New York City, move to the woods and try and finish this book that I've been trying to write. She's got a little bit of writer's block going on. One day she's in the middle of the woods, she hurts her ankle and a biker comes to the rescue, and he is very much a reclusive type of person. And there's just kind of like this energy between them. This book is just a vibe that I cannot put into words. It's like kind of thriller, like I don't know what's going to happen next type of thing, but it is a dark romance. The heroine is such a vibe. I did post about this on Instagram and a bunch of you actually read this because of me and you said you loved it. And you also love Magnolia. Like, she's such a sick heroine. Best heroine, honestly. I just loved the way that Anne just wrote this heroine. I wasn't reading this book or enjoying it because of the romance. I was genuinely enjoying it because of the heroine, how she was written and who she was. Next up, we have The Perfect Marriage. So this isn't a romance, this is a thriller romance. I actually love thriller romances and I'm hoping to get a good collection of them, to read a bunch of them so I can actually suggest some to you. There's just something about that genre at the moment that I really, really enjoy. And this one I found, it was written in first person, not third person, thank God, and I really enjoyed it. So it's about this girl who is married. She is driven, goal-orientated, and she has been pretty much working her ass off to succeed in her career. But along the way, she's kind of forgotten about her husband and put him on the back burner. He is an author, he's a writer, and he has been having an affair. It's their anniversary, I believe, and she gets called into work. She can't spend time with him, so he ends up going to their lake house where he often goes to write and meets up with his mistress there and spends the night with her. The next day, the mistress turns up dead, he is arrested, and his wife becomes aware that he is getting charged with murder of a woman that he's been sleeping with. She's a criminal defense attorney and decides to take on her husband's case, even though he has betrayed her and cheated on her. It's a murder mystery, so like each chapter you're kind of like, ooh, who did it? And like throughout the book I was like, was it the wife? No, I don't think it's the wife. I don't think it was him, but I do think it was this person. Maybe it could have been this person. You know, being a defense attorney, she's going through all the evidence, she's doing research, she's, you know, wanting to do the best that she can to defend her husband, even though he betrayed her and cheated on her, and she's just found out because she doesn't believe that he could have done this. But as she's like researching and looking at all the evidence, she's like learning about this woman, and you know, there was quite a few men in her life, in the mistress's life, that could have been the murderer type of thing. It's really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. There was no sex in this book. There was almost one smutty scene, and even the way that was written, I really enjoyed. I just loved it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I didn't know who it was going to be. But I will just say the ending could have been better. Could have been. I feel like it was a bit... I don't want to say it was an easy way to wrap up the book, but I reckon it could have been better. The sun has just come out and you can probably see it's like shining on my jumper. Anyway, that is it for today's video. They're the books that I've recently read that I really, really enjoyed. Hopefully you got a recommendation, or you got inspired, or you found a book that may pull you out of your slump. I don't know what I'm going to call this, but these are the recent books that I've read that I've enjoyed. And yeah, I'm looking for some new books to read. I've got a ton of books on my TBR that are very, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people talk about them, but I'm just looking for new stuff that I haven't seen or heard, stuff that's different. So if you have any books that you suggest to me, if you have any books for me to read, please suggest them in the down bar below, like in the comment section. I'm looking for books that are different in the sense that you picked them up, you read them, and you were like, wow, I did not expect that book to be like that. I did not expect to feel like that. Give me those books. Like what was a book that did that to you? I want to read it if I haven't already. I know my upload schedule is chaotic. It's going to be chaotic for a while. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll find my new groove soon, okay? I will find it. I will be here. In the meantime, I'm just going to film when I feel like it. If I come across a book that I love, you're going to know about it. All right, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Links to social medias and stuff like that are down below. And I'll see you when I'm looking at ya. Bye.